Dear students, welcome to this video lecture on module number 1. Okay, so module number 1 of the syllabus is Introduction to Power Systems Operation and Control, and further next chapter is Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System, and third chapter in this module number 1 is Unit Commitment. So let us discuss them one by one. In today's discussion we will be concentrating upon Mainly we will be concentrating upon Introduction to Power Systems Operation and Control. In Power Systems Operation and Control, one must know what are the operating states of the power system. So power system mainly operating in the various states, and those states we will be considering here. So here the various elements of the power systems operation and control are important. Okay, the operation and control action we will see here, and what is the time required for that is mentioned in another column. Okay, so the relaying execution control, system voltage control, this requires some few seconds, multiseconds it requires. The system frequency control, tie line power control, it requires few seconds to few minutes of the time. Then the economic dispatch requires few minutes to few hours. The system security analysis also requires few minutes to few hours. Then unit commitment problem need few hours to few weeks. Then maintenance scheduling, it takes a time of 1 month to 1 year. Then system planning 1 year to 10 years. Okay, so in prior we should plan the system. The system's operation is governed by the equality and inequality constraints. The equality constraints are the power operation is equality constraints are power balance between the generation and load, and inequality constraint set the limit on different operating parameters such as voltage, generating limits and current, etc. The system states are mainly classified as normal state, alert state, emergency state, extreme state and restorative state. So what are the features of these various states? Let us see them. So normal state, the system is said to be normal if both the load and operating constraints are satisfied. It is one in which the total demand on the system is met by satisfying all the operating constraints. Then what is meant by alert state? Okay, the alert state, the features of alert state are a normal state of the system is said to be alert state if one or more of the postulated contingency states consists of the constraint limits violation. When the system security levels fall below the certain level or the probability of distance increases, the system may be in alert state. Here all the equality and inequalities are satisfied, but on the event of disturbance the system may not have all the equality constraints satisfied. Then the third state of the power system is the emergency state. The features of emergency state are the system is said to be in emergency state if one or more operating constraints are violated but the load constraint is satisfied. So in this state the equality constraints are unchanged. The system will return to normal or alert state by means of corrective action or disconnection of the faulted section or the load sharing. Now fourth state is extreme state. When the system is in emergency, if no proper corrective action is taken in time, then it goes to either the emergency state or extreme state. In this regard, neither the load nor the operating constraint is satisfied. This results in islanding. Also, the generating units are strained beyond their capacities. So emergency control action is done to bring back the system state either to emergency or normal state. Then the fifth state of operation is the restorative state. In the restorative state, the system may be brought back either to alert state or secure state. The latter is a slow process. Hence, in certain cases, first the system is brought back to the alert state and then to the secure state. This is done by using restorative control actions. Okay, so with the help of the blocks here, the 5 states are shown: normal, alert, emergency, in extremis and restorative. And these arrows shows the transition of one state to other state. Okay, so in this block diagram we can see in detail. So this normal state, okay, can come to the alert state, okay, in presence of some violation of the limit, and if the preventive control is activated, it can once again go back to the normal state. Okay, and similarly, okay, the power system can change its states from one state to other state in presence of some of the faults, and in case if we initialize the corrective action, okay, our power system can change its state and come back to the normal state once again. Now let us see what are the objectives of power system control. The system must be able to meet the changing demand in active and reactive power. The spinning reserve maintained should be sufficient to take care of sudden variations in the demand. So mainly our power system is designed for this purpose only. So this is the first objective of the power system, we can say. Then the energy should be supplied at a minimum cost. Okay, so this is the second objective. The system should supply the energy at minimum cost and with the ecological impact. Then the third objective is the power quality. That is nothing but the quality of the power whatever we are supplying in terms of the ratings of various parameters. So that power quality should meet certain standards with regard to frequency, amplitude and the wave shape. Okay, so these are the main objectives of the power system control. So making use of several equipments, we can just try our power system to satisfy these all conditions. So these we call as objectives of power system control. Now let us see the various controls in the power system. Okay, so in our power system mainly we focus upon this generator. Okay, and this generator, okay, we ensure that it supplies a rated value of voltage at fixed frequency. So for that purpose, from generator we are taking these two feedbacks, the supplied voltage and the speed. Okay, the speed feedback we are giving to the prime mover, and here this prime mover and control, it will be just maintaining the frequency of the output power to the nominal value. Then this voltage feedback we are giving to the excitation system and control, where it is taken care that we make our generator to supply the rated voltage all the time. So this is the main control in our power system. Then if we consider the system generation control, in that, so here you can see that the schedule of our power system will be given. Then we will be activating the supplementary control and the other generating units and the association controls here. Then further we can just see that once we supply the power to the transmission lines, on transmission lines when we send the power, there the transmission controls will be activated. So from that the frequency, tie line flow and generated power, these feedbacks or these things are noted and we are giving it back to the system generation control. Okay, so here frequency, tie flows and generator power. Taking this, we will be trying to maintain our system's generation control. Okay, so overall these are the various controls in a power system. So in order to have the expected operation from our power system, we will have all these controls on the power system from one central place or one focal place, that is called as a energy management center. So this electrical energy management systems are an important functions for the reliable and efficient operation of the power system. EMS, energy management system, is related to the real-time monitoring, operation and control of the power system. The information from the power system is read through remote terminal unit, an integral part of SCADA, to an EMS or energy control center. Okay, and from there we will be initializing various controls over the power system's operation. So this energy management centers or energy control centers, okay, from energy control center we will be keeping an eye on our whole power system, and we will try to capture the real time information with the help of SCADA technique, and whatever control actions we want to initialize, those also we will send using the SCADA, and we can have the controlled operation of various components in the power system, and by that we can ensure the proper functioning and good quality of power at lowest possible cost to the customers.